Let's return to home matters now, because a renowned Australian businessman, Dick Smith, has hit out at industry operators such as the CSIRO and AEMO, accusing them of being misleading and completely biased against nuclear. This is what he said.
I believe it's the only answer. We've got to reduce carbon in the atmosphere. I don't think it's possible to do it right throughout the world without using nuclear. You've got to use everything you've got. I'm pro-renewables, but renewables alone and battery storage will be phenomenally expensive.
Graham, why won't Labor even consider nuclear objectively as what Dick Smith has called for here?
Because we're stuck. We're stuck in an old ideology that we've held dear to our hearts for years and years, and we just don't know how to say, well, might have been applicable 20 years ago, but it's a load of crap now, let's get rid of it. We just don't seem to know how to do it. And I'm hoping, really hoping, that Albo gathers himself and stands up in the next few months and just says, it's finished, we're out. Because really, we are looking very, very, very old when it comes to policy.
Well, that's an interesting insight then from you, Graham, as a former Labor minister. Michael, you've got to say Dick Smith is making a fair point here. Labor's argument that nuclear power would be too expensive, yet not adding into the conversation the cost of their so-called green dream.
Yeah, look, Graham's right. Labor have had an ideological objection to the mining industry ever since I was at university from 1975 onwards. They hate the mining companies. They've just got this blinkered view of anything that's taken out of the ground. It's this old sort of caveman view of the world, as Graham basically says. You know, I've just come back from Europe. France gets 70% of their energy from electricity from nuclear power. The whole world's basically increasing their store of nuclear power, and Australia looks very backward when we're trying to rely on wind and solar. When nuclear basically is the fuel of the future. And so, yeah, I mean, will Albo do that, Graham? I don't think so, but you're right. They're looking very backward.
But you've got to remember, Michael, we're not relying on wind and solar. We're still relying on coal. I mean, that's the real tragedy. Most of the power in Australia comes from coal.
That, Graham.
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
The bad word coal. But you're right. I mean, the energy transition is happening completely back to front. We're racing now to shut down these coal-fired power plants. No surprises that the life of Eraring has been extended. I mean, what does that tell you? That we're desperate to keep the lights on in this country. Now, look, businesses have come out today warning the government's cap on foreign students could cripple the country's higher education sector and deliver a lasting blow to the economy. That's according to the Business Council of Australia chief Brand Black. He said that international students were being used as a red herring in the housing affordability debate. Michael, do you agree with this? I mean, we've got record migration numbers, record number of students. It's fair to say something has to be done, right?
No, I don't agree with him at all. But you know, big business, the BCA, etc., unions, they're for a big Australia. They want more immigration, more people here. A bigger population means that business can sell more things. So they're generally in favour of a big Australia. But look, if you have 160,000 houses built last year and 600,000 people come into the country, that doesn't quite add up. And so, of course, you need to put a cap or reduce the student intake. I mean, Sydney University gets almost half its students who are from overseas. Almost half. I mean, it won't be that in the future because Sydney Uni's so badly discredited now because of its, you know, allowing this sort of Jewish hatred to permeate the university. So its reputation internationally has been trashed. But generally speaking, you know, you've got to cut the number of immigrants and people coming to the country because there's a limited housing stock.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, I've said this for a while now. It's becoming acute vote-driving issue because people are really struggling and we can't get Australians into households right now. Graham, what do you make of what big business have said here? A red herring. Is that a fair enough assessment?
Yeah, probably. I think it's somewhere near right. I mean, look, I just don't think any government has ever properly faced our housing problem. That's the real difficulty. You know, they build a few houses, but they've never looked at those numbers and said, right, we are pathetically behind We need to just dramatically build this up. We need to really do something that is historically much, much greater than anything we've ever done. Well, I haven't heard that kind of language from any politician, Liberal or Labor.
No, fair enough. Look, we're almost out of time, but I just want to go to the UK quickly, where former Prime Minister Boris Johnson has put his differences with Rishi Sunak aside, joining the campaign in a last-ditch attempt to help the British Prime Minister. Michael, do you think that Rishi Sunak realistically has any chance, even with Boris Johnson's help?
Well, I was in London on Saturday and read all the papers and talked to a lot of people. Rishi Sunak has zero chance of winning. Yeah.
And Graham, very quick last comment from you.
Well, I think he's got less than that.
There you go. We're all on the same page then. Easy, quick and easy. Graham Richardson, Michael Kroger, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you both on.